Peace and love, family. Peace and love. So I just recently made a post, and it was about, the post basically said, let me read it verbatim. So I posted a reel, and the reel said, you started a business at 6 months pregnant with only $4 to your name, and now your 14-month-old daughter owns multiple six-figure businesses, owns land domestically and internationally, and travels the world and lives life on her own terms. So when that video was posted, I didn't expect the amount of people to respond. I didn't expect the amount of people that asked me how I did it, to ask me how they did it. So I literally just decided to go live. I decided to just hop on live and tell you exactly what I did to get to where I am today. Because you do not have to spend a whole lot of money or make investments or buy all these things to do what I did. And my favorite thing to say is, if I can do it, you can do it better. Anybody that has worked with me one-on-one, you already know, before we start our call, I say anything that I can do, you can do better, and you will do better. So I wanted to make this video really quick to tell you how I got to where I am today, because it's way easier than you think. Right? It's way easier than you think. We all have a story. We all have something that we can monetize. We all have a skill set that was given to us personally. We all have something that we love to do. But what's happening is we get caught up in the system. We get caught up in the 9 to 5 mindset. We get caught up in that systematic thinking, and we exert so much energy and time to our 9 to 5 that we don't even have the energy to invest in ourselves. So I want to explain to you how I got to exactly where I am today, because it wasn't an overnight thing and it was not easy. So I don't know if any of you know this. I'm sure you do. I talk about it all the time, but I was a Delta flight attendant, and that was my dream job. I wanted to be a Delta flight attendant from the time I was 7 years old. I either wanted to be a pilot or I wanted to be a flight attendant, one or the other. But I really just loved something about like the aesthetic of a flight attendant. I loved the energy of a flight attendant. I loved the red lipstick, and I mean it was just something extremely attractive about that to me, and that's what I wanted to do. So I remember like it was yesterday, I had a whole conversation at 8 years old with a Delta flight attendant. And we talked about me like getting hired with them, and from that time, that was my dream, and that's something I never forgot. So I, went through my elementary and middle school, high school, went to college, all the things, but I still wanted to fly. So I finally got hired with Delta in 2017. Before Delta, I worked for American Airlines, a subsidiary of American. So I worked for like a regional carrier. And the regional carrier was called PSA Airlines. I still had all American benefits, but that was like a stepping stone. If anyone is in the aviation industry, I'm going to just give Delta their props. Like, Delta is the upper echelon of aviation. I don't care what nobody says. You can argue with me if you want. Delta is that company. But before getting to Delta, like, I worked for a small carrier. But I'm like, this is not the end all be all. I'm going to work for Delta. So I got hired with Delta, and it was incredibly amazing, and it was a dream come true. And at that point, I don't have to think about anything else because I made it. And you can ask anyone that knows me, like, I literally felt like I just hit the jackpot. This is the end all be all, and this is what I'm gonna do. And I had a vision of being like that 75-year-old flight attendant, like still flying to Paris, still wearing my stilettos, still wearing my red lipstick. Like, that's what I envisioned. I never envisioned entrepreneurship. I never envisioned, just being a full-time world traveler. I never envisioned creating content and getting paid for it. Like, those things never crossed my mind. And another reason why I felt so committed to Delta is because I felt like it was the only way that I could travel. So I was like, if I want to travel the world, I need to make sure I keep this job so I can keep my benefits. And the longer I stay here, y'all know how it works. Like, if you are at Delta, if you have the highest seniority, you get a seat on the plane first. So I'm like, let me go ahead and get my what's it called, my seniority up here, so that I can really travel and not have to fly standby and like have the, what's it called, like have the potential to get I forget what it's called, but you know, if you fly standby, then you might not get on the plane. So anyway, long story short, Delta was the end all be all for me, and it was my only way to travel the world. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. And now my family had benefits, and I was just really busting my butt and, you know, laboring for some benefits. Fast forward, 2019, there was an incident that happened, and I'm not going to give all the details, but if you work for any type of airline and you have flight benefits, if anybody on your travel pass acts up on a flight, if anybody, you know, breaks the rules, if anybody on your travel benefits does something that's not in alignment with the company's policy, you are held responsible for that. So in this case, I was held responsible for something that I did not do. It was completely out of my control, and I still get all like, I kind of get shaken up about it like till this day, because just the way it all happened. But something happened, and I wasn't the person that was involved, but because I am the active employee, I'm responsible for any other companions, any travel companions. And in 2020, I got fired. So I went on suspension in October 2019, and I got fired in February 2020. And when I got fired in February 2020, I had already been on suspension, so I wasn't getting paid. I was suspended without pay. So I was using my savings between October and February. So money was looking real funny. It was looking so funny. And then I ended up getting fired in February. I still had like a little bit of savings left, and I decided to use that money to just go to Egypt. I was so devastated that I got fired. And when I got called into the office for the meeting, I thought, y'all, I walked into this meeting thinking that I was getting I had applied for a position because I wanted to be an instructor. So I thought that I was getting the position to be an instructor because we were about to start hiring. And y'all, I was bamboozled. I was so sad. And the room that I was sitting in was in the Delta Lounge in Atlanta. It was a glass room. So even though people didn't know what we were talking about, I knew what we were talking about. And I felt like I felt humiliated because everyone that came in the room, they could see me. Mind you, nobody knows what we're talking about at all. But I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting fired. And everybody can see me getting fired. It was a whole thing. Long story short, I get fired. I have chill bumps talking about this. And it's not cold in here. I literally have goosebumps. So I got fired, and I took my little last bit of my savings. It was $750. I took it, and I booked a flight to Egypt. So I went to Egypt, and I was just looking at that as an opportunity to just kind of like clear my mind, to decompress, to disconnect, to reconnect. And when I went to Egypt, like something happened to me there. And it was like one of those moments where it was all meant to be. I'm not going to go into detail about what I experienced in Egypt, but it basically was just confirmation that there was a major shift happening in my life. And I didn't really understand at the time what was going on. I still didn't understand what happened to me in Egypt until a whole year later. But it was just confirmation again that there was a major shift happening and that I needed to surrender. But me being me still operating in ego, me still sad that they fired me for something that I didn't even do directly. I was like, should I fight it? All the things instead of surrendering the way that I was instructed to do. I was told to surrender. When I was in Egypt, I had this outer body experience. And at the temple of Dendera, I had an outer body experience. And when I left that temple, a woman handed me a red dress. And it had like a lotus flower all over it. And now when I look at the significance of that dress and the Egyptian cotton, it was just like a renewal. It was like a rejuvenation. It was a brand new dress with Egyptian cotton. Again, it was everything so significant to the shift happening. I leave Egypt. Mind you, I didn't actually want to leave Egypt. I wanted to stay in Egypt. So I was trying to figure out ways I could stay there and make money. And in my family, they were like, well, just come home, like come back, figure it out. We know that you still got to pay rent and stuff. So like, we'll help you out. We'll give you money here and there. So I was like, all right, cool. So I started to borrow money from my family because my money was running funny. And I was so on a cloud nine and so high from Egypt that I wanted to just stay in that space. So I decided to completely go vegan. I was only eating food that was alive. I wasn't cooking anything. I was eating raw vegetables. I was eating everything raw. I was taking spiritual baths every single day. I dove into Queen Afua's book, Sacred Woman, and for a year straight, I detoxed. For a year straight, I allowed myself to completely rejuvenate. I allowed my mind to reset. I allowed the food that I was eating to restore my cells. I just allowed myself to come back into balance with who I truly am because I had lost myself. So during this time, I'm reconnecting with like who I am, and now my thoughts and my dreams, everything is becoming really clear. And then it was made clear to me that I want like freedom. Like freedom is our birthright. And so I spent all this time healing, and I was isolated during this time. And like I'm just being really transparent. I was really isolated. No one was around me. And then a year, like 13 months later, I get a random text, and I'm not gonna go into details, but anyway, shortly after my detox, I decided to reconnect and resurface, and I wanted to start a business. I wanted to open up a vegan restaurant. I wanted to open up a holistic lounge because I wanted to normalize living holistically, like the same high and the same turn up that you can get from turning a shot. Like you honestly can have the same effect just drinking some ginger and also wheatgrass. 2 ounces of wheatgrass can give you the same feeling of like that upper body, that excitingness and stuff like that. So I wanted to open up a holistic lounge. So with that being said, I needed some money. I needed some capital. I needed somebody to invest in me. Like I needed some money to open up a lounge because I need a staff. I need a building. I need money for herbs. So what I started to do is, I made a way out of no way. What I started to do is I bought a little tent from Walmart, and I started setting up my tent at different parks. I started setting up my tent at different parks with my niece, and we were setting up a whole table, and it was just information about living holistically. And I would make ginger shots, and I would sell the ginger shots for $2. And I would sit at these tents at the park. I went to the Atlanta Food Truck Park. I would go to Bonfire, and I would set up this little $50 tent that I bought, and I would make money, but I wasn't making like enough money to bring my vision into fruition. So then I was like, well, what if I look into some credit? What if I look into credit and get like some business funding and maybe get some credit cards? So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use my credit to fund my business. Y'all, when I looked at my credit, I was like, oh my God. Like, I could not tell you the last time I had looked at my credit before I looked at my credit when I was trying to get approved. And I was like horrified. I literally just freaking cried. Like, what in the heck? And so like, I just didn't realize, I didn't know. Like and truth be told, I wasn't paying on my student loans, and that really hurt my credit score. So I felt defeated. I felt like I didn't have another way. I didn't have any options. So I decided to learn how to fix my credit. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I didn't have no money. Like I wasn't making enough money to hire a professional to help me with my credit. I couldn't afford it. So you know what I did? I went on YouTube and I found the people talking about credit, but what my saving grace was the bureau bullies. I found the bureau bullies on Instagram, and I was like, oh my God. So I started binge watching the bureau bullies. Mind you, I could not afford I couldn't afford any of their books. I couldn't afford to go to any of their workshops. I couldn't afford it, but I could watch their free information on on Instagram. So in between Instagram, the bureau bullies, and YouTube, I learned what I needed to know to fix my credit. So, and it is easy. Someone just put in the comment that it's so easy. It is so easy. It's so freaking easy to repair your own credit. So I went from a 500 credit score to a 700 credit score in 3 months. I was debt free. I had my credit score went to a 720 in 3 months. I have receipt. I have witnesses. Every time I was getting remedy, I was calling my family like, y'all won't believe this. when I was able to dispute my student loans and like really get my student loans off my credit report, that's when my credit really shot up. And when I got these dispute results, I literally called my mom at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I know you sleep, but I just had a huge win. I need you to hear me out. And I can get her to come on this call. She'll tell you the story. I'm like, I just had a huge win. Let me tell you, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, look at my credit report. It was 5 a.m. So I was so excited about that. And so my mom like be telling everything to all her friends. So she started like telling everyone what she was seeing me do. Mind you, like I was studying night and day. And I didn't mention this, I was pregnant. I actually had found out that I was pregnant. I was like, oh my God, I ain't got no money. My credit shot. I got a baby coming. Like, what in the... So now, like, my purpose and my drive was different. Like, when you have a baby, something is activated within you. Well, for me, when I found out that my little baby was on the way, something just switched. And I went into, like, I turned into, like, a robot. I was like, oh my God. Mind you, I had art, and then I connected with my family. I started to connect with people that were in alignment with me. Then I started to connect with like everyone that I needed to support me in this journey, everyone that I needed. So long story short, I was teaching myself credit, and then I was getting wins. My mama was telling everybody about what she was seeing, and then she had a conversation with my aunt that lives in California, and my auntie was like, girl, can you help me? And I was like, sure. So now I'm like helping people for free because I learned for free. I literally learned for free. So I was helping people for free, and once I started to like realize, actually I didn't even realize I could monetize what I was doing until my auntie told me. She was like, I will pay you for this. I was like, I haven't thought about that, but I didn't have no money. So of course, okay, fine. Like, okay, $100. So I got my first client $100, and then I went up on my price, $500. And then I started to, by word of mouth, people were like, oh my God, tell me what you know. Can you help me? And I was helping people, and I was getting so many results. You guys can go watch like my story. I went through today and was like reposting stuff from like last year and 2 years ago. Like we were getting so many amazing results left and right. And then people were like, can you teach me? So then I was like, how can I, focus on myself and help everyone? I'm just one person. And that's when I decided to transform my knowledge of credit into an ebook. So I was making a little money here and there, but I was still paying off like some debts, and paying off my bills. And I still had bills at the time. So I was like, you know what? Let me turn this into a book. At the time, I knew nothing about no dang on digital products. I knew nothing about like online courses. It was just, I was intuitively led to create an ebook. I did not know this was a thing. So I went on Canva and I created a really ugly book. Like when I go back and look at that book now, I'm like, that book was so ugly. But I had a free Canva subscription. I used it. I created a book and I sold the book. I created a Stripe account. I created a Canva account, and I put everything that I knew about credit. All I did was convert my letters into a book. Everything that worked for me, I put it into a book. And I have hundreds of people that say it worked for them too. So everything that worked for me in those 3 months, I put it into a little book, and I was like, here, it's all yours, $100. People were literally seeing how valuable this was, that they were reselling that ugly book. It was a great book, but I'm talking about like the font. Like I'm so analytical now about branding, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I didn't even remove the background on some of the pictures, all that stuff. But anyway, people were reselling that book for $500. And when that happened to me, I was really sad. And somebody was like, if someone is reselling this for $500, that means it's valuable. Go up on your price. I was like, I don't know about that. So anyway, I say all of that to say, I converted my knowledge into a book and sold it. And that book alone by itself, not including consultation, not including my course, that book all by itself did 6 figures in 90 days, all alone, like nothing else included. That book did $100,000 in 90 days, literally. And so I was like, oh my God, what do I do now? But as I started to make more money, I took my money and I invested in investment coaches. then I started to invest in people that were doing what I wanted to do. So I'm like, okay, I have this baby on the way. How do I set up life for her? So I had a sit down with a life insurance agent who was also extremely knowledgeable about trust, extremely knowledgeable about investing and being an angel investor, and he helped me to connect also with another investor and determine like what would be the best place to invest money for my daughter and all this stuff. So they helped me to set up, and that was just that was a $700 investment that had like a return, like it was amazing. So every time I made a little money, of course, I continued to invest. And then I decided to start doing courses. I can sit down and pre-record a course of everything that I know and sell that course. Like my conditional acceptance course still hits to this day. That's how I was able to become debt free. The conditional acceptance, that is a proven method that worked for me. And other people have gotten results too, but that worked for me. And that course is $75 right now on my website. And I did that 2 years ago, but it's still relevant. So you have some knowledge that is relevant right now and will be relevant 10 years from now. You have some knowledge right now that can be converted into an ebook. It can be converted into a online course. Maybe you know about how to be a massage therapist, or maybe you're an esthetician. Okay, it's 100,000 people out here that want to know how to become an esthetician, because if they Google it, there's going to be so much hoops to jump through. So if they can just download your course, hey, this is how you prepare to become an esthetician. This is what you look for. This is the type of accreditation you want to make sure you have, and you sell that course. There is 8 billion people in the world. If your course reaches less than 1% of the general population and your course is $1, guess what? You still are a millionaire. If your course reaches less than 1% of the population, and what I have learned is that business is about numbers. Business is numbers. So now when I do my email marketing and all the things, and I have a 4% conversion rate and 2,000 emails went out, that's a good thing. So now you have to look at it as a numbers thing. It's quantity over quality. It's quality over quantity. But then when you get into the logistics of business, it's all numbers. And if you look at the general population and it's 8 billion, and you think about how the internet and how TikTok and how YouTube, they have billions of searches a day. And if you can run an ad for $25 that can get you that visible to your target audience, baby, you are winning. I ran an ad for $10 and had 800 new emails to my my email list. I spent $10. So if you can learn ads, so this is not hard to do. You have something that you can convert into a product. So let me finish my story. So when I found out that I was pregnant, I also knew that I did not want to raise my daughter in the United States. I don't have anything against the United States, but the more I studied credit, the more I realized that this is a systematic country that we live in. And I don't believe in like brainwashing. Well, yes, I do believe in that. But when I started to realize that the curriculum that we are learning in school never prepared me for entrepreneurship, and I started to realize that like everything I was teaching myself, I could have learned that in school, but I didn't, because it's not in the standard curriculum. So that, in addition to being in an environment that's going to stimulate the mind, stimulate the body, stimulate the soul. I also want to be in the tropics. I want to be near a body of water. I want to be near someone said they can't hear me. You can't hear me? I want to be near salt water. I want to be where it's sunny. I want to be in the tropics. And I want my daughter to thrive. I want my daughter to be exposed to other culture. I want my daughter to be exposed to languages. I want my daughter to be able to, at 5 years old, speak how to count, how she can count in 10 different languages. Because the more you expose your children to the world, listen, me world schooling my daughter, and someone going to a traditional school, when my daughter and that person that sits down at the table that went to traditional school, they can't even have the same conversation, because she's not coming from a textbook place. She's going to know all the things with the textbook because she's learning that curriculum, but she also has the lived experience. So on one end, you have someone that's learning about the pyramids in the book, But then my daughter sits down at the table and she can actually tell you what it feels like to walk up them stairs in that tunnel and how tight and narrow it is and how it gets really hot at the top. When my daughter sits down at that table, she's going to tell you exactly what those tombs look like, exactly what they felt like. And she's going to be able to tell you what hieroglyphics were present, all the things. So that's what type of time that we're on. So that's why I was like, okay, so I'm growing this business. Mind you, I was doing it all solo. I'm growing this business. This baby is on the way. Like, what does this look like? I had to surrender. So I went through a lot of things within my business. There were like some really terrible partnerships. It was just a lot of like growing pains. But that's when my daddy, Brother Hassan, Papa Hassan, you guys, some of you may follow him. That's when my daddy stepped up to the plate and really came to just say, okay, listen, focus. You're supported, focus. Forget about all that other stuff. You need to get back into that space, surrender. Don't let your judgment be clouded, and just allow me to come back into like homeostasis. Because it's like, okay, I'm having like more cold feet because the baby is close to being here, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So that's when I came home. That's when I was able to really understand and realize who I am. Again, remember where I am, come back into that space of homeostasis, really understand, what's happening, really understand that, profess my faith, and just understand what it is that is happening and how everything is right in alignment with exactly where we're going and what we're supposed to be doing, and that Allah is in complete control. So if you can just sit your butt down somewhere and surrender and have faith, and then have that unconditional faith and get out the way, you're gonna be all right. And that's what my daddy had to do for me. He was like, listen, either have faith or don't have, either have faith or not, but stop trying to do both. Sit down somewhere, surrender, and let it be, or sit down and still try to control it. Like you're trying to do God's plan, God's way, and you are not God. And I was like, okay, daddy, okay. So anyway, I sat down and I took Shahada with my daddy actually. And on that particular day, I went and sat down and I said a prayer. And I prayed for about 3 hours. I had my yoga mat. I prayed for 3 hours straight, and I wore that dress that woman had gave me in Egypt a year prior. And that's when I realized everything was full circle. And so I sat down and I prayed, and I kid you not, everything I prayed for happened fast. I mean, like within 30 days, fast. And it was because that day I said, listen, I am fully surrendering. I have faith. I want to raise my daughter a bride. I know that it's going to happen. I want my business to continue to grow. I want to be able to make other businesses for my daughter. It happened. So my message to you is, get out the driver's seat. Just get in the passenger seat and have some faith, and just know that everything that you need is already within you, and everything that you are going to experience between now and then is a part of the plan. What I want you to know more than anything, baby, is everything is always working out for you. Hello? Everything is always working out for you. Even if it's you driving down the street to a job interview, you get a flat tire, you're like, God dang, I'm not going to make the interview. That's okay. Everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen, and it's happening for you. Everything is always working out for you. I did not understand why I got fired from Delta. But guess what? I needed to get fired from Delta because I would have never elevated my mind. I would have never been able to walk in my purpose on purpose. I would have never believed that I can be a full-time world-traveling entrepreneur with my daughter. I would have never believed that if I would still be at Delta right now, because I had the mindset that I can only travel with my Delta benefits. I can only travel if I stay here and move up the totem pole in seniority. Right? I was literally thinking that. So I had to surrender and get out the way. And today I stand before you, and I have earned multiple six figures. Now I have $7,000 weeks, not even related to anything that I do. I have $7,000 weeks just making content from my phone for other brands that has nothing to do with nothing. Right? And so I am making more money right now than I could have ever imagined. We have a home in Egypt. We signed a lease in Egypt. Why? Because in Egypt, The rent is $300 a month. So I'm making money and I can afford that. My daughter owns the Phoenix Rising Academy. My daughter owns a logistic company, an international logistic company. My daughter has already invested in other companies. She is okay. She is straight. She got more money than her mama. My daughter has more money than me, period. And there's no shame in that. I don't care. What I make, I take care of us. And whatever she want to do with her money is up to her. But she does have more money than me. Her net worth is a little higher than mine. So I'm just saying to you, only thing that I did was take information that I knew, I put it into a digital product, and I started to show up. I just started to share what I was passionate about, because freedom is our birthright. And I'll be the first one to tell you that I'm going to be on the front line for freedom, because I don't want to see nobody walking around here oppressed. I don't want to see anyone out here staying with a job because you feel like that's the only thing that you can do to get to where you want to go. No, you are far more powerful than any corporation, than any institution. Okay? You are far more powerful than that. And you have anything and everything that you need to create the life that you want to create for yourself. Just get out the way and believe it. Get out the way and believe it. Get out the way and believe it, period. It was hard to believe that I will be financially free and be able to raise a child abroad. That was hard. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to get out the way. Like, I'm going to keep practicing this mindset stuff. Shout out to I Am Tony Jones. Somebody tag her. I Am Tony Jones. Her music kept me in a space of alignment. Every day I'm bumping Tony Jones. Every single day I got Tony Jones on my playlist. And let me tell you this as well. You are the vibrational average of the 5 people closest to you. So if you sitting around a whole bunch of low vibrational mother people, they gotta go. Or you gotta limit how often you're talking to them. Because they gotta go. Because if you are around people that are not in alignment or do not believe where it is that you're trying to go, they gonna hold you back. Period. So I was not surrounded by people that were like really believing in me, and like, well, they believed in me, but they didn't really see the vision, right? They're like, oh, I support you, but we don't get it. So I turned on my Tony Jones, y'all, and that's what kept me saying. You know what else I did? I took sticky notes, and I put these sticky notes all around my house, everywhere, on the light switch. I put my sticky notes on the mirror in the bathroom. And I was like, listen, you are making $25,000 a month. You are financially free. You and your daughter are living in Costa Rica. Y'all still got these sticky notes. And I'm going to show y'all. And there were different colors. There were colors that resonated with my chakras. And so every single sticky note was intentional. And it happened. Anything that I can do, you can do better. And I did it on a scale. I made a lot of mistakes. I learned a lot of different things. And I did make investments that, I mean, every investment is a good investment, but I took one for the team already. So that's my story. And so now, you know, the more money that you make, the more you can do. So now I just continue to invest. I continue to invest, and I continue to live life the way that I want to live life. And the reason why I moved abroad is because I wanted to be somewhere where I can live my very best life and not have to break the bank. I wanted to be in a place where I can outsource a chef, a nanny, a driver, and I still have, my bills are less than $1,000 a month. Like, that's freedom to me. Freedom to me is being able to have all the things and not having to cry at the bank or cry when I look at my bank account. That's freedom. I don't know what freedom is to you, but to me, it's being able to be exactly what I want, where I want, and have that soft life. And anybody that doesn't know about UGC, user generated content, UGC is literally content that you create from your phone. If you taking pictures and you taking videos and you recording yourself, you already are a creator. Hello? Like, I posted about UGC and they're like, what is that? What is that? We're all already UGC creators. Now it's time to get paid for it. We already are naturally creators. If you ever go live or if you ever post a video of you and your family, you just posted UGC content. You literally just posted UGC. So the starter guide that I have is just for beginners for UGC. That's something you can do to start making money right now. I had my biggest week last week with UGC, and it even inspired me more to go. Now I'm gonna charge $400. Right? Like I started out with 100 and then I went to 200, and last week when the brands was like, oh yeah, we accept that, here's a contract, I'm like, you just gave me permission to charge $400. So my prices just went up again. So can yours. And I'm posting content for their business. It never goes on my page. Y'all don't see my, I've done so many UGC videos and you have never seen me post it because I don't have to post it. You don't need a social media following. You don't need to have a whole lot of social media presence. You just got to have a phone or some way to create videos. You ask them what their requirements are, and if they don't like the video, redo the video. Period. So anyway, you have something very powerful within you. You have something that is very valuable, and your story is a brand. You have a story that people are waiting for you to share, because, and I don't mean to like ruffle any feathers, and I say this from the most genuine space ever, but like, let's say like you're a person that experienced like domestic abuse, right? Like, yes, you experience domestic abuse. I'm not minimizing your experience, but I also know that your experience is your experience because you're supposed to help the next person. And you can monetize your pain. Your pain is the reason why you get paid. So if you have gone through some traumatic experiences, you can monetize that. I'm not trying to say like use it for like clout or anything like that. What I'm saying is create something and use that to grow your own business and your brand, because really what we have been through and what we're passionate about is what our business is supposed to be. It's what our brand is supposed to be. And so like when I'm working with my clients one-on-one, I only do 2 clients every 6 months. And when I'm working with my 2 clients, it's a 12-week program. And during those 12 weeks, I am getting down to the nitty-gritty of what my client is passionate about. What is your story? What is your trauma? Okay, and then how do we turn that into a product? I help my clients turn their traumas into a product. And they're amazing. Shout out to my 2 right now. Y'all know who y'all are if y'all are on here. I love y'all so much. And so these stories are so powerful, and they're turned into a beautiful brand. And if you have a story, you can turn your story into a brand. Look at Ayanna Van Zandt. Look at your Oprah. Look at your, I don't know, y'all follow some people that have a story. So get out your way. Get out your way. If you want to host a retreat, plan the retreat, make a visual, start telling people about it. Launch ugly. Like, you don't have to have like all the things. Like, just do it. Just do it. So, yes, everybody that's on here, I just want to, like, my biggest thing for you is to know that everything is always working out for you. If that relationship didn't really work out and you want to sever it, like, path of the least resistance, surrender, and know that everything is working out for you. If something bad just happened at work and like it's very hard to process, it's okay. It's working out for you. Like, God does not make us come here to like have like to suffer. Right? Like, we're not supposed to be here like everything. We're supposed to be here to love. We're supposed to love, and we're supposed to be in harmony with ourselves. And like, the more you are in harmony with yourselves, the more you can be creative. The more you can create, the more you can give birth to, the more you can show up for other people. The easier it is for you to start that nonprofit organization. The easier it is for you to hop on a plane and take your baby somewhere. The easier it is for you to pursue that goal that you set aside 10 years ago. Hello? So I just want to encourage you to launch ugly. I want to encourage you to know that everything is always working out for you. And most importantly, get out your own damn way, okay? Because at the end of the day, you in your own way. And that's what it boils down to. So that's my story. I got fired from Delta. I did not have a plan B. I wanted to start a holistic lounge because I wanted to help people understand like the importance of detoxing, because I detoxed after getting fired, because that just felt that seemed like the right thing to do, because I didn't know what else to do. So I detoxed, I changed my diet, I began to pray, I began to just really remember who I am. I started to remember who I am. From there, I wanted to start a lounge. I didn't have the capital for the lounge. That's when I started to study credit. I started studying credit. I didn't have the money to pay someone to help me, so I taught myself. using the Bureau bullies, taught myself, and I never started the lounge. Instead, I started a school online that helps people understand credit. And now my school has evolved. Sorry, the school is owned by my daughter, excuse me. But her school has now evolved to helping people get the F out of the United States. So we just recently launched a program called Let's Get the F Out of Here. And it's just giving you everything that you need to get up out of here. Like everything, how you get work, how you can start teaching online without any experience teaching, how you can get a 120-hour certification right now and apply for teaching jobs, teaching kids how to speak English. You don't have to know the native language. There's opportunities for you to live abroad and not have to pay rent. There are free housing opportunities. If you have a skill that someone else can use abroad, you can literally do like a foreign exchange program and go live somewhere that's on your bucket list for free just to bring your skill there. You can also go on Trusted House Sitters and find beautiful homes to go house sit for. Like if somebody has a dog for it. I'm gonna give you a real live example. So the other day, I was on Trusted House Sitters. I just wanted to see what were some things on there being offered. And what I found was this beautiful mansion home in Mexico. The house was immaculate. It had a pool in the middle of the living room. Like this house was everything. And the only requirement was for the person to come and watch the dog for 6 months. So it's a 6 month contract where you stay in this home and you take care of this dog that has diabetes. That's the only requirement. So you take care of the dog, 2 times a day, and then you go do whatever you want to do. So that's an opportunity to have free housing. So the Let's Get the F Out of Here program just walks you through visa requirements, how you find your place according to budget, how do you compare budgets, to Sri Lanka, to Costa Rica, how do you determine where you want to go? So everything just continues to evolve. And my last post posed a lot of questions, and I just wanted to make this quick video to show you how I started and how I got to where I am today. It just led from, I literally just saw a problem for myself. I found a solution for myself, and then I started offering it to others for free first, and then I put a price tag on it. And I'm valuable, and I know that what I share is valuable, and I know that when you work with me, you're going to have amazing results. I know that if you work with me one-on-one, you want to turn your story into a brand, it's going to happen. So I can name my price, and I can live my life. If I want to name my price and live my life, you can too. Name your price, live your life. Launch ugly, name your price, live your life. So I pray that you all found something valuable today. I really do. I would love to stay connected with everyone because we have some really cool stuff coming up, especially for the kids. When I took my niece to get her passport the other day, it triggered something within me. And prior to that, I had already been planning something really huge for the kids, but that experience gave birth to something else. So stay connected, and let's there's power in unity. Power in unity. If you want more information, Google, y'all, YouTube. It's a lot of information out here. And if you are looking for coaches and stuff like that, do not complain about nobody's price, because once you get into that space and you naming your price, living your life, you got to have that same energy. Okay, so I am going to let you guys go. I want to thank everyone for being on here, for tuning in. Y'all tag my daddy and tell my daddy I love him. And let's see. Let me see if I can see any questions on here. No questions, just comments and stuff. Okay, so that's all I got. I hope this helped. I hope this helped with my last post that I put up. And it's been quite the journey for me. And like I said, it didn't happen overnight, but I had to get out the way, right? I just had to get out the way. I had to surrender. And with the baby coming, I was like, baby, I can't be broke. I can't be no broke mama, and I just really don't want to. So many things that were non-negotiable. So I will save this replay. If you want to be a client of mine, you just have to fill out an application. It's a very intensive application because I really protect my space, and when I work with you, I'm very invested. You can ask anybody that has worked with me, and my 2 clients right now, I have to take a step back because I get so passionate about what they're doing, and I'm like, can I come? It's just a thing, but I get so connected with a person's vision because when I hear the backstory, when I hear the backstory of their vision and why their vision is what it is, it just really moves me. So to work with me, there's an application process, an interview process. We'll get on a couple of calls, and if I feel like we're a good fit, we'll do an orientation, and then you can pay. You can pay for the service. But I work with you 12 weeks straight. We do marketing. We do turning your store into a brand. We do all the things. We do everything. Media, social media. And then any of the courses, they're on the website. So Phoenix Rising Academy, everything is still up. All the courses that I did for, from 2 years ago, they're still up. And it just dropped in my spirit. I'll post let's do a 50% off everything on the website. Let's do that. Let's do 50% off everything. So use the code RISE. Use RISE. Give me time to actually create it though, but in about 15 minutes, if you want to go on the website, use RISE, all lowercase, and get 50% off anything you want off the website. Anything. So, and if you don't have the funds, RISE, R-I-S-E, 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 all lowercase. But give me about 15 minutes to set it up, and I'll set it up. But use RISE and get anything. I think the bundle will be the best, because you get access to everything that I've ever done, and you even get access to the most recent course, the 5-day that I just finished, which it was so bomb. This 5-day course was so bomb, and I love doing virtual live. But anyway, give me time to set up that discount code, and then go on the website, use RISE, and get 50% off whatever you want. Or if you just want to binge watch the YouTube channel and get game there, feel free to do that too. But nonetheless, y'all, you're so powerful, okay? If nobody told you today that you're powerful, I am here. This is your sign, and this is your reminder that you are so powerful. You are so powerful, and your story is a profitable brand. And anything that you want to accomplish is possible. Everything that you need to accomplish it, you already got it. You already got it. And everything is working out for you. If your friend hit you up and said, look, I don't want to be cool no more, just say, okay. Okay, because I know this is in my highest and best interest, so okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. But I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna go get off now. And again, use lowercase RISE for let me set it up right now. For anything on the website, and I am going to I just posted, but my website is in the bio, and like I said, let me go create this discount code while we're talking about it right here, right now. Let me do it. It'll be available, let's say, how long y'all want it to be available for? Y'all want 2 days? We can do that. Alright, so it will be active in 2.5. But I am excited about your journey, and I always like to hear where you guys are and like what your dreams and goals are. And if you want to move, it's easier to move. It's literally easier to move than it is. It's easier to move out of the country than it is to get an apartment in Atlanta. Listen, no credit check. You don't got to do no down payment. You don't got to do no security deposits. Like literally, it was $13.50 for me to move to Costa Rica. Do y'all know that if I wanted to get an apartment in Atlanta, I would have to like pay $13.50 just for the security deposit? And then I would have to pay the first month rent. And then I would have to pay for my utilities to get turned on. Like, I don't want nothing to do with that. It's a no for me. So, just determine if you want to be a full-time traveler, part-time traveler, and yeah, you can do it. It's possible. And someone just sent me a voice note and said that I heard it was expensive. Like, stop listening to all that stuff. Like, no, it's not expensive. Stop listening to that nonsense. Of course they're going to tell you that it's expensive because they want to keep us very systemized. Like, no, it's not. Of course, if you're in an environment that's going to stimulate your mind, body, and soul, of course you're going to create. Of course you're going to be able to discern the BS. Of course you're going to be able to truly be your most authentic self. Of course you're going to be able to create things that are going to make the world a much better place. Of course we don't want you to be in your element. And I'm starting Find Your Phoenix Fridays next Friday, and I'm hitting it off with the code is active. So if you go to I Am Phoenix Rising, www.IamPhoenixRising.org, and you use RISE, R-I-S-E lowercase, everything is 50% off. Everything. Whatever you want to do, 50% off. And I honestly, like I said, the bundle is so good because you get access to everything, including this course that we just did, the 5-day. And that's valuable. So with all of that being said, yeah, just don't let anyone cloud your goals and tell you that it's not possible, because it very much is possible. Very much possible. Anything, everything. And if you just want somebody to hype you up, I'm your girl. I'm gonna hype you up, okay? So anyway, I'll see you all when I see you all. Every Friday I'll be doing Find Your Phoenix Fridays, and my YouTube channel is Find Your Phoenix. Find Your Phoenix. And my journey moving to Costa Rica is on there. Y'all get to see Find Your Phoenix on YouTube. And yeah, so I'll see you on, I might do another live before Friday, but if I don't see you before Friday, have a wonderful week. You are powerful. Everything is always working out for you. Everything that you need to do what you want to do is already within you. All right, peace out. I'm out, y'all.